Welcome to another episode of Fantasy News. I am your host, Daniel Greene, and today I want to get into some brief channel news before we get started. One, I had a Wheel of Time video planned to be released earlier last week, but unfortunately due to technical difficulties and some upload issues, I was not able to get it out, so it'll be delayed to this week. Sorry about that, but it is coming down the road. Next up, tomorrow and the day after, I will be reviewing Berserk and the Dragon Prince from Netflix perspectively. So if you'd like to see those, be sure that you're subscribed and hit the bell for notifications, because YouTube apparently, if you're subscribed, doesn't think you need to see every video. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the news. And speaking of Wheel of Time, we had a script photo posted that gave us some information about Season 1. One, that Episode 5 will be Blood Calls Blood, and Ilana will most likely be in it due to the fact that the actress playing her, Priyanka Bose, received this script and is at a table read. So that's a good amount of information we learned about Wheel of Time there. Interesting to see this, to say the least. It's just kind of hitting me that this is really happening now. I know that sounds strange to say, but like I was looking at the IMDb page to look at some stuff for this news, and it's like, wow, there's all these actors, there's all the new information, like this is happening. It's coming down the road. We're getting it. In other adaptation news, though, we had our first real kind of release for the Dune movie coming down the road, with an article titled "Dune Footage Hailed as Epic by Novelist, a Landmark Like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings." That's quite the lofty claim, and I, being kind of a skeptical cynic, of going to be dismissing this a little bit as just, hey, before movies come out, people say all kinds of stuff like this. I heard Sucker Punch compared to Lord of the Rings before it was released, as by like journalists and reviewers. That kind of stuff is just said. But I do still have sky-high expectations for Dune. The director is one of my favorite currently working, and in some updates to this article, we had some important bullet points listed I'd like to go over. The footage was more of a promo reel of sorts, comprised of an assortment of behind-the-scenes interviews with the cast, set videos, and some actual footage mixed in. It's more akin to a featurette in that sense. Clement described the footage as a mix of grimy realism mixed with dreamy imagery. So already right there, if it's mostly not actual footage and just like behind the scenes stuff and interviews with actors, maybe comparing it to Lord of the Rings might be a bit lofty, but hey, I'm just a massive skeptic, so hey, feel free to get pumped if you're a Dune fan and you love hearing this. But the fact that right after that, they're saying it has this dreamy imagery with gritty realism, that just reeks of this director, Denis Villeneuve, all over the place. I think that actually just really is a great way to describe his movie Blade Runner 2049 as well. It has that similar vibe, and I was hoping at my core that he would bring that similar feeling of that gritty realism with dreamy imagery to Dune, so I like hearing that. And the rest of these bullet points go over nice things about the upcoming movie. Of course, if you'd like to read them, link to this article down below, as well as everything else I talk about here today. But that was what I took away mostly from this article. And in holy moly for Dresden Files fans, the cover for Peace Talks was released, and it looks like this. I was very surprised to read that this is the first Dresden book in 6 years. I did not know it had been that long between releases, and that makes this all the more exciting to see this release coming down the road. Very cool. I like the cover. It looks magical, more magical than a lot of other Dresden Files covers, at least the ones I'm at this point in the series, and I look forward to more Dresden reviews coming down the road on the channel. I still do hope to get through the rest of the series before this one comes out, but that is a lofty goal for myself with everything else I'm trying to read. As a reminder, this book is set to release July 14th of this year, 2020. If you're watching this like, a year from now, it's already out, so good on ya. And I'm aware quite a few of you missed the Brandon Sanderson live stream on YouTube for a couple of reasons. Either you couldn't make it because of time zone issues, or you didn't see the fact that it was moved from YouTube to Facebook due to technical difficulties on Brandon Sanderson's team's end. Unfortunately, that happens a lot with YouTube live streams. They're not exactly easy to get up and running. So Brandon Sanderson has taken the footage from that live stream and uploaded it to his YouTube channel. So if you would like to go ahead and watch it for yourself, even though it's not live, I'll have that, of course, linked right down there. And as someone who watched most of the live stream, it was a lot of fun to see him answering questions. Having his bird around was pretty neat, and just kind of signing a ridiculous amount of papers. The biggest surprise for me, though, was the fact that he live streamed for 3.5 hours. There's kind of an unspoken thing for live streams that you do for like an hour, maybe two. Beyond that's really difficult. It just kind of takes a lot out of you to be alive and engaging with a lot of people for that long, but he killed it. It was an entertaining live stream for everything I watched, and wow, I know a lot of YouTubers who have never done a 3.5-hour live stream. And they're planning to do another live stream January 20th at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And are there some D&D fans in the crowd? I know there are, because you guys are fantasy nerds like myself, really. We're all a bunch of, geeks and dorks, and I love you for it. Well, The Last God's World is coming to Dungeons & Dragons. DC's Black Label's The Last God is coming to Dungeons & Dragons with a source book called Tales from the Book of Ages, and it'll be out this April. And in debunking fake news on fantasy news, it seems there's been a hoax that went viral online and had a lot of people believing the Obi-Wan TV show was canceled. That is not true. This show is still happening. There was a parody Twitter account, which everyone got onioned here. Apparently, I noticed it wasn't real, and it was being said and reported by alternate news sites that this TV show was canceled due to Ewan McGregor walking away. No, that's not true. It's absolutely still on. This spread to the point where they had to make an official statement and be like, no, this is happening. Obi-Wan at Disney Plus, still coming down the road. And Dark Horse is apparently going to publish Alien, the original screenplay comic, hoping to bring horror back to the Alien franchise, at least what this article says. Ambitious goal. The Alien franchise has become pretty controversial, especially with the movies recently. Some people still really like them. Others think they've either jumped the shark or just haven't been scary. A comic's a bit separated from that and could absolutely be good, and Dark Horse has made some really great things in the past, so I'm fine with it. I just am not really looking forward to future Alien movies. I kind of fall in the camp of Alien Covenant was bad. And do I have any software engineers in the crowd? Because maybe you'll have some sympathy for the devs working on Cyberpunk 2077. They're saying that their developers may have to crunch a bit to get the game out by its new delayed release date, as we covered in the last fantasy news. It's understandable that people will have to crunch. I just hope it's not up to what a lot of the industry does, or their developers get like abused working 12, 16-hour days, even more sometimes, to get games out. For those of you unaware, the gaming industry has a large problem right now with developers being forced to work unreasonable hours to try and meet deadlines. But CD Projekt Red has a fairly good reputation of not doing that, and they're saying they'll have to crunch a bit. So I don't think it'll be anywhere near as bad, and with how much of a passion project this game seems to be for the studio, I'm sure a lot of people are just willing to work harder to get it done. So I don't think this falls into the, oh my gosh, these people are like not seeing their families level of game development. The BBC America has released its first public images for Terry Pratchett's The Watch. They look pretty alright. I don't really have much expectations for this one, and I'm not invested to a huge degree. I'll watch it if it comes out and it's getting great reviews, but otherwise I'm not interested, I'm not there. And that is especially the case because, yes, this is loosely based off Terry Pratchett's Discworld, and apparently that word loosely is very accurate. Even this article itself and many other people involved with the show have said they're using it for basically inspiration, but taking the show in their own new creative direction. And as someone who has become quite a large Discworld fan after getting deeper in the series, I don't like hearing that. I would like to see you stay true to Terry Pratchett's masterpiece that is Discworld, the iconic series itself, but hey, we'll see how it is. Watchmen fans are probably aware of the fact that the showrunner for the recent HBO TV show has left, and unfortunately it seems the result of that is the show might be canceled altogether, as a season 2 seems less and less likely. We've seen it said that it's over and done, and then other articles saying it could be revived, but that's a turbulent place to be. I hope, of course, it does carry on and is able to improve and grow and represent Watchmen. It's a rough place for a show to be. I hope the best for it, but with a showrunner leaving and a producer as well apparently no longer being involved, not looking too bright for the future of the Watchmen TV show. And in the final bit of fantasy news we're going to cover here today, it seems that Taika Waititi has been approached to helm his own Star Wars movie. This is the creator of What We Do in the Shadows, Thor Ragnarok, and Jojo Rabbit. Now, Taika Waititi is a brilliant director. I really enjoy almost every project I've seen the guy involved with. He's phenomenal. I've had people point out to me that he was involved in the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. Okay, never mind, not every project, but I think he's a wonderful director, a creative mind, and goddamn funny. So him being handed Star Wars is something I'm not entirely sure how I feel about. I do believe Star Wars needs new creative vision to help keep it going. The rumors of a Old Republic or whatever different time they're jumping into for the future of the franchise makes sense to me. But Taika Waititi being such an absurdist and someone who has such a distinct sense of humor, will that blend with Star Wars? I'm not entirely sure, but I do have a lot of faith in him as a creative visionary. So I'll definitely see it, and I would think that if he does it right, it could be truly excellent. Again, there's a lot of discussion to be had there. Let me know what you think of this story, or any story at all, and let me know your favorite of the day in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you'd like to support what I do here. Hit the Patreon if you love fantasy news and want to continue to see it growing, and have a great start to your week, everybody. Peace. And of course, I'd like to record a special shout out to my 2 latest high-tier Patreons. Paul Whitset, thank you so much for your support, man, and Palem Petkov. Palem Petkov? Petkov. I'm not sure how to say that. Thank you so much for your support, though. Have a great one, y'all. See ya.